Hey everybody, my name is Andre Salazar. This is The Art of Comics. Thank you so much for watching. This is part number 9 of the Alex Toth series. Really excited to talk to you guys today. I love Alex Toth, and I hope you've been enjoying this series. If you haven't watched the previous episodes, I would, because this is continuing chronologically with his work. So in this episode, we're going to specifically talk about this book that was published by IDW, a collection of his work for Bravo for Adventure. And we're going to just dive right into it, okay? So I hope everybody's doing well with the current problem with the pandemic and everything. It's crazy and wild. So I take this moment to talk about silly things like comics. And I hope you enjoy it. So let's get in on it. By the way, there were 2 versions of this that IDW published. There's this version, which is actually a really nice, large version. And there's also the artist edition, which is the full-size paged. Now, this is $35. The full-sized one is $100. I got this on sale for around $20. You can get the artist one for probably around $100 or maybe $80. And I got outbid on eBay, so I decided to get this. And I'm actually glad, because the artist editions are beautiful, and it would be nice to see his stuff in full size. I feel this is big enough to really understand what's going on from just a visual perspective, and it's money that's not needed to be spent. So buy more comics is what I would do. So the history with this. As we've mentioned in previous episodes, Alex is increasingly feeling these frustrations in the 60s and 70s with mainstream comic books, with the editor system, with the anti-heroes, with kind of the way mainstream comics are going. He's just feeling out of place. But in Europe, they have these these album-sized books. And so this publisher, his name is somewhere around here, Nathan. I think his name was Nathan. Fernard Nathan. Nathan, he reaches out to Toth and says, hey, I'm creating this line of comics. It's going to have Mobius. It's going to have Droulet. It's going to have all these different European artists. Your work would be perfect in Europe. Will you do your story? And you get to do whatever you want. So again, he has carte blanche. This is like John Fury and the Hot Wheels, so he can do whatever he wants to do. So he's like, amen, let's do it. I'm going to make comics. I'm going to have them sold in Europe. They're going to publish them. And of course, he goes back to what he loves, which is the Errol Flynn, the Noel Sickles stuff, all that kind of high adventure airplane thing. So that's what he decides to do. And this was, what's interesting too, is this is the only thing that's published. This book has everything there is for Bravo for Adventure. And he died with a bunch of unfinished scripts and pages, and he had more to tell. He wanted to tell more, and it never got done, and it's too bad. It's a shame. But let's just dive into what this is. Great little, again, I think this is him at his best. I know I say that every episode. He gets better and better as he goes through the decades. There's other comic artists that aren't like that, and just other people who creatively have their one thing to say, have their thing, but they don't necessarily are building and improving upon their craft. I think Toth does. Okay, so this is like a little intro of Jesse Bravo. Who is Jesse Bravo? Talks about he was a pilot. His parents died in a crash. Learned from his parents. Was a stunt man. Worked for the Hollywood doing stunts, flying aerial acrobatic stuff. Did career runs, things like that. And this is just a quick little couple page synopsis. By the way, he lettered this too. And the way he letters, he uses one of these. He uses these little Pentel roller ball writers. So this is what he uses to letter, which I thought was kind of interesting. So I'm telling you, dude, I'm into Toth. I even get his freaking pen. Okay. Anyway, So he letters his stuff. It's nice and big. I do like that. Some great panels. I mean, just talking about using these as devices, of like Wally Wood's 24 panels that always work. This is that same kind of a deal. So let's go into the first story. Beautiful panel here. Beautiful kind of intro to Jesse Bravo, what he's all about. He's on hard times right now. He's trying to figure out what to do with his business that's losing money, and he's got to get a gig right away. So he needs his gig, he needs the money, and he comes across this opportunity where this mobster, not mobster, but a guy who owns a casino, we get the impression they're kind of gangstery. He comes over and asks about this guy named Cliff Wiles. Was it Cliff? Yeah, Cliff Wiles. And he's like, Cliff Wiles? Cliff Wiles is dead. That can't be, And we find out that the guy pretending to be Cliff Wiles is an old cohort of Jesse. Before we really get into that, let's just look at some of these panels. Just really great depth here. Profile in the foreground, middle ground, background. This is a great inside shot too, seeing him right there. There's just great positioning. So he's like, that can't be. Cliff Wiles is a great friend. He died. I don't know who that is, who you're talking to. And he offers him some money. He's like, I don't need no money. We're good. Do your thing. He's like, okay, well, see you later, brother. He gets a call from Orion Pictures and says, hey, I need you to on the plane tomorrow. I need you to go up. We're shooting a film, and we need you to go do the stunts. And so he's like, okay, I'll bring some guys. He's got some buddies. He's like, bring 3 other pilots, get up there. So he flies up to the shoot location, and this girl who's the director's daughter is like, I want to get on the plane with you. And he's like, no, you're not going to go. And she's like, no, don't you know I'm his daughter? I'm the director's daughter. Don't you know? He's like, I don't care who you are. You're not going. And she's like, it seems that chivalry is truly dead. And he's like, along with good manners and good old common sense, Miss Powell. So there's this is kind of that, almost like Parker, which we're going to talk about too. Almost like this. This kind of a hard-boiled-ish, time where it was like ditzy broads, that kind of dame, that kind of a deal. It doesn't fit our culture right now. So there you go. And I'm not excusing that kind of insensitivity. Okay, let's get into the craft. He knows just when to put the details, right? This is brilliant. Now, he could have put here, and he could have drew the trees, and he could have drew the rocks, but because it's just a simple black and white, I just feel like it just really works well. And then you go here, and then he puts in that detail. He puts in those little, these little, little technology for the plane, gauges, that kind of stuff. This is a great too, just, man, he's good, man. So the mobster guy goes to this club. He's still in Hollywood looking around trying to figure out who this guy who owes him 10 grand is. And he's like, yeah, man, you know what happened to Cliff? He's like, yeah, Cliff's dead. Wait a minute. Well, who's that guy over there? Oh, that's Bo Bannon. Bo Bannon? He told him his name was Cliff Wiles, right? So it's like, oh, okay, Bo Bannon is a cheat, and he owes money to everybody. And he's like, okay, what do you think about that Jesse Bravo guy? And the bartender's like, oh, Jesse's great. He's a great guy. He's a stand-up guy. Okay, here you go. Here's $200. Pay off the debt that Bo Bannon gave you, and I'm taking off. So he's hot on the trail. He's going to go find Bo Bannon because he owes some freaking money. And he learns that to trust Jesse. So they arrive, and him with his little pile buddies. Just all these faces are so unique, so different, and just great. And Notice too, there are different levels of profile. Oh wow, look at that. Complete profile, a little bit out, cheated out 3/4, front, and then full front. Just brilliant way to show that breadth of face. Let me tell you, most people can do these two, right? These two is like you do the front eye, you do the side. And people do this one, the 3/4. These though, that are in between the 3/4 and stuff, these are hard. This is like not easy to do. So again, he's just showing his draftsmanship. He just has it. Perfect blacks. Again, remember we talked before in the previous episode about the drop shadows he's putting. Just great drop shadows here. Perfect blacks built. I love when they do this. The black goes into the background stuff. No rim light, although here we have rim light, which we don't need. It's interesting. I mean, maybe the rim light shows a little bit more drama there, but we didn't necessarily need that rim light there, so it's a kind of interesting choice. He's great with cars, of course, that kind of technology stuff. So now, I should not skip the story. They land. They're asking, hey, where's your daughter? Your daughter should have been on the other plane with Gus. Should have got here before. And like, we don't know where they are. So they're like, oh crap. Well, let's go figure that out. Then they see Bo. Bo's there, and he's like, oh, that's my fiance. So Bo's like distraught. They're looking for Vivi. So who knows where Vivi is? Meanwhile, the gangsters are going up to the chute, and they see right in the middle of the freaking road a plane and just crash into it. So plane crashes, only one survivor. We don't know who it is yet, and the phone rings. Great moment to turn the page, right? Boom. Who is the phone? We'll find out here in a second. Authorities come on scene. They get the guy, the survivor, take him to the emergency. Cops are talking about the accident. The phone is ringing. He misses the phone though. He doesn't get the phone. This is the casino boat. And they're like, okay, we need to find the boss, Nico. And we got to find him. So I want you guys to go look for him. So they're going to go look for Jesse Bravo, because that's where Nico went originally in the beginning of the story. So they're out looking for him. They're thinking that maybe he whacked Nico. Nico, the boss, wakes up in the hospital. He takes off. He runs off, escapes. Now everyone's like jamming to this location, the film set. Get there. This is kind of fun. This little there's some comedy here too, which is interesting. He puts in this comedy with Vivi, who's this antagonist for Jesse, and they kind of slams him in the face. This is great here. I love this again. That shot out there. She's back. She's alive. It was fine, but those people died. The car crashed into the plane after we left, and they died. And it's all your fault. You're the one. I was on the plane with you. You didn't let me. Pushes him, slaps him around, beats on him. He falls down, but this kind of played for laughs. He's like, are you happy now that I'm down on the ground? They're laughing. So there's this moment that's kind of good. This is nice too, where there is this little tit for tat repertoire they have. Now back to the action though. So, this car comes in, and guess who it is? It's Nico. And he's got a rifle, and he's going to take out freaking Cliff Wiles, a.k.a. Bo Bannon. And then he's like, what? Now, so this is when Jesse finds out that his old compadre has been cheating and going as the other dead guy, Cliff. And he's like, not having it. And so Jesse does clocks him, beats on him. He says, I can't believe you've been doing this. We're going to settle this now. And he's like, and Nico's like, I just want my 10 grand. And of course, Nico does something stupid, or Bannon does something stupid, grabs a gun, tries to shoot. and there's going to be some death and carnage. So he takes off. It's a great action, great panel here. They get out. This is all just wonderful stuff. He falls off. This is great action here too. Now he could have kept this all black, right? But you put in this to show the action. You put this in with some white out and stuff to kind of show the speed. And this is a great turn here. Great little moment. Cops are chasing. Bo gets on the plane. He's going to just fly off, right? So he's going to take off on this plane to escape Nico. Problem is, it's going to be some issues. First, the gangsters shoot on him. Not the gangsters, sorry, the cops. The cops are shooting at him. He gets his engine hit. And it's not going to make it. Now, she, of course, finds out her fiancé was a cheat and lie. She's distraught. But they do have a quick little moment there, which we'll go back to that, of course. And he's not going to make it. He's going to try to make the runaway. They turn on their lights, the car lights, to give him the vision so that he can land. But he isn't able to land. And he crashes. He's like, I'm going to crash this thing, so I'm just going to say, screw it. If I'm going to die, I'm going to die big. And he does a big flip. Boom, right in the ground. Meanwhile, Bo Bannon's dead. Nico's in bandages, but he's fine. Two more of his thugs come from the boat, coming looking for him. So this is a brilliant story. I would definitely get it to read it. I'm not going to keep going because I'm like, that's probably not the best use of everyone's time, but wonderful story. It all does resolve. She cuts her hair. There are these moments, where again, I like this too. It's like laughing and kind of fun camaraderie. These hands are great. I could sit here and just point out each magnificent thing. Even this panel here, you see the face. It goes through the axle and of the car. You see the bodies. Just things like that are really hard to figure out. And he just knew how to make it the most dramatic. Like, where did he put this ground level? Yeah, right there. Yeah. Just really good stuff. Even this stuff here where you have all this work that's in the shadow, right? All that stuff adds so much more dimension to the comic. Now this next part, and that's the end of the story, by the way. And so the next part, this is kind of a strange piece because this is really him, I feel, experimenting with the medium and the different types of work. He gets hit upside the head by a propeller that's starting, knocks him unconscious, and he goes through this series of kind of surreal, dreamlike images. And so we get these different types of lines, these different types of shapes, and they're quite interesting. It's very kind of experimental. It feels very different, in what he's doing here. I like it as this, storytelling or mark making experiment. It's not really a story necessarily, as you would think, but that's a great little face, cute little thing. But it's cool though. It's kind of neat. I mean, this almost gives you that like Will Eisner kind of look. It almost looks like if he's doing different people, like different artists, different styles from different artists that he knew. I'm not sure about that. I'm making that up, but could be. I wouldn't be surprised. Positioning of things. Really good. Really great work. And then that's kind of it. And then he comes too. And so it's kind of a strange little piece. Now this was originally, I didn't mention that this, while he was told that it would be published by this European company, and the creator, the publisher, Nathan, That's the last name, by the way. It turns out they went bankrupt. This was never published by them. It was later, years later. It was published by a French company. They did publish it, but he often tried to figure out, should I self-publish this or not? What should I do with this? Here's some of the coloring, which I thought was kind of interesting. Now remember, the coloring, most of this was done in Paris, although he winds up doing some himself. Here's some sketches. We'll see some of his coloring. This is his page. He actually colored that. So it says here that he did color 12 pages. I would love to have seen him color it. I think this is much better than this. I do like flats generally, but I really like what he's doing here. He's adding some more work to it, so that's kind of neat. And here's some more unfinished work. So this is great. This is really good, man. I'm not super big on this genre necessarily. Not like I have tons of Enemy Ace comics and stuff, but I like it a lot. I love his work. It's something to study, and I think it's brilliant. And there you go. So thanks a lot for watching. Make sure to click on the bell icon to know when my next episodes are up every Tuesday and Saturday. And nowadays I'm doing a few extras, so on Thursdays and things. So thanks a lot, guys. Appreciate it. Bye.